Welcome
Hey,
back to the Frollo, the Frolog.
Okay, my question is whether or not Craig popped in while you were before you said that or not. Because for
Meh.
me, he popped in halfway through that.
it literally just starts with the Frolog.
I mean, either way works.
So anyone remember that terrible Frollo fan fiction? Because apparently people who wanted to fuck Jean-Claude Frollo were a thing.
I know I
Yeah.
do on the daily.
No.
Neither do I.
Apparently there's more. Yes.
Oh,
Who doesn't want more?
oh boy, here we go reading again.
I believe the majority of France.
Well, it's a good thing this fan fiction is in English.
Any members of the Romani people?
It's a good thing this isn't in whatever language the people of Romani speak. Is Rome a language? I don't know.
Is mayonnaise a language?
Not
Is mayonnaise a language?
not that kind of Rome.
Are you sure?
If memory serves, well, Romani is just the technical term for quote-unquote gypsies.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, just
If
checking.
memory serves, the origin is actually like either North Africa or the Middle East or some shit.
Romani is any of several languages of the Romani people belonging to the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European language family. According to the Ethnologue, 7 varieties of Romani are divergent enough to be considered languages of their own. The largest of these is Vlax Romani, about 500,000 speakers, Balkan Romani, 600,000, and S-I-N-T. Sinite? I don't know. Sinite Romani, about 300,000. Some Romani communities speak mixed languages based on the surrounding languages, which retained Romani-derived vocabulary. These are known by linguists as para-Romani varieties. Rather than dialects of the Romani language itself, the difference between the various varieties can be as large. For example, the differences between the Slavic language is amazing. Romani is a language.
Yeah. But basically, because the whole thing is that like the term gypsy was typically used as a derogatory term, hence why it's fallen out of fashion for the name of like that group of people, instead going with Romani. Anyway.
Wait, so back in the day, was it still called the Romani language, or is it called Gypsy speak?
It might have been called the Romani by the people who were speaking it. That happens a lot.
This has been Linguistics 101. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yes, because I am not a historian. My focus on this sort of shit is typically mythology.
I want people to speak feel good. Yeah, that's it.
My focus on this sort of stuff is minimal.
You could say you have a passing interest in history, Tom?
It's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, history is very interesting. Do you know what's not interesting, though? Mythology, right, Tom?
Depends on the mythology. Some of it can be wild and just be like, holy crap, this is ridiculous.
I was trying to take a jab at Llytic. I wasn't being serious.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh.
Come on.
I mean,
the program, dude.
don't even get me started on Capo's flying vagina.
Ooh.
That was a thing.
You're right, Zane. I'm not interested in mythology.
The Hawaiian, the Hawaiian Capo, who was basically a fertility goddess, had a detachable vagina that could fly.
All I'm hearing is, babe, come over. I'm horny. I can't. There's a quarantine. It's fine. I'm sending it to you.
Well, Hawaii has had to deal with a quarantine before.
Most places? No, not in America. Never mind. I don't know how many big plagues have run through America.
Oh, no. In Hawaii's case, it was leprosy.
Oof.
Yeah, it turns out that when a whole bunch of people who kind of have a history of leprosy decide to colonize an area, a set of islands that never had to deal with it before, It
You mean like
kind of
literally
goes.
every place on this side of the earth?
Yes. There's a reason why armadillos have leprosy. They don't naturally carry it. It's just that their external body temperature is cold enough that they are able to catch it. And so they never had to deal with it until the fucking Spaniards came over. That's the only reason you can catch leprosy from armadillos. Because of the
Nice.
conquistadors.
Conquistadors fucked up a lot of things.
Conquistadors fucked up themselves, and it was hilarious. Anyway, back to the point. More stories from Frollo Freak, because God hates you.
No, Llytic, I think you hate yourself, and it's coming across as this. So you need some help, man. We're here to support you, but get some help.
Because God hates you. No, you hate yourself. Well, anyway.
I'm just coasting through this, man. I don't even know what's happening anymore.
I never know what's happening.
I've completely deleted the entire Frollo epic from my mind, so I don't even remember what the fuck happened, and I'm really afraid that this ends with Frollo sex, either implied or stated directly, and I'm not ready for that.
I mean, last time it did have implied Frollo sex between Jean-Claude Frollo and Big Sassy Black Lady TM.
Oh my.
So, anyway, the story we're reading, as you could probably tell from the title of this episode, is Didn't It Blow Your Mind, Claude Frollo?
Yes, we're on the
Yeah,
Frollo.
did that sassy black lady blow your mind, Claude Frollo?
Yes, we're on the Frolog, the Prodigal Brothers Joyride.
Oh right, Frollo has a brother.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Phoebus.
I don't know if it's just because we made mention of implied Claude Frollo's. But that name, just...
Phoebus?
No. The Prodigal Brothers Joyride. Just think about that for a second.
Oh my.
All right, so
put the stick shift in my ass, baby.
question. Should I just read the one line or should I read all of the italics?
Just read the one line.
Okay. Daniel Ignatius McMullen, Iggy to his family and friends, drove up
The
the
dog from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
drove up the long driveway to his sister's house. The old banged-up Volkswagen bus with its peeling psychedelic paint job and rusting fenders coughed and wheezed as Iggy parked the vehicle. Yes, that's the voice I'm going with. No, I'm not apologizing.
So apparently the dog from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure can drive.
Either that or he teamed up with that one stand user whose stand is a car.
Oh, God. It's the oh, God, I can't do fucking Storm's voice from, Sonic Riders, the Sonic Riders fandom. It's the pal on my enemy stand.
Is that Bay or Boy? Oh yeah. Boy, I thought I'd never make it. This old thing's about ready to give out on me. But what did you expect when you drive all the way from Montana? Is the old boy Frollo?
Bay, I thought I'd never make it.
I'm standing as far away from my screen as possible because I really don't want to look at this.
Man, that was a blast, living up in the mountains, clean air, fresh water.
I mean, both work.
But I was low on bread, and I got that call from old crazy Roosevelt. We're getting the band back together. Wait, which Roosevelt? FDR or Teddy?
Teddy, possibly. I don't know.
We're getting the band back together. Gonna play for some high school reunion.
Okay, I was just going to use that for the subtext for the narration, but I mean, I guess we can do that for his inner monologue as well.
Voice now.
Oh, it's food time. I'll be back.
Fucking hell.
It'll be great being back with the... I thought that said gays for a sec.
I mean, that'll be great too, but...
You know what? I'm going with it. It'll be great being back with the gays and our old band, but we need instruments and amps, and Hornet's Nest will jam again.
That's a terrible band name.
Or an excellent one, depending on your opinion.
No.
Llytic, I agree with you that that's a terrible band name, but some people might think it's a good one. So let's not.
Well, those people are what we call wrong.
Opinions can't be wrong, Llytic. They're subjective.
What's the name of your band? Beehive.
Well, I mean, I've seen less creative names. What's your band name? War.
Oh, God. Anyway, maybe I can hit up old Fern for some cash. She won all that money, so what's parting with a few hundred? Time to rob.
Oh, this kind of thing. Okay. Iggy McMullen, with a battered duffel bag slung over his shoulder, strode up to the front door and rang the bell. He was a little guy, barely 5'6". Shorty, with a pale, round face, blue eyes, and spiky blonde hair that grayed at the temples. He wore 1960s-style, Ben Franklin-style shades, tattered, patched-up Levi's, Birkenstock sandals, and an old tie-dyed T-shirt that had seen better days.
I hate him already.
Hey, tie-dye's not bad.
No, I was talking about the Birkenstocks.
Ah, gotcha.
Also,
I don't know what those are.
You know those like leather sandals?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm Googling it. Ah! Okay.
Yes.
Why are they so expensive?
Because people with shit taste will pay lots of money for clothing. Shit.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things I like about Crocs is they're comfortable and they're not expensive.
I hate you. Anyway.
Don't worry. I hate me too.
An old Doobie Brothers song played in his head as he waited for Fern to answer the door. In a way, he had hoped that Fern wouldn't refuse such a simple request. After all, he thought, he's family. Unfortunately, he'd been disowned several years ago.
That simple request would fall upon deaf ears, and once again, Iggy would be swept up in the biggest adventure of his life, courtesy of his own sister's negligence.
Wow, Fern sounds terrible.
Is Fern his sister? Or
apparently.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it did say that they're family.
Mm-hmm. I just wasn't sure if they were making reference to someone else who was his sister or a Fern. I don't know. I was confused. But situation normal, so. Yeah. Hey, Zane, you back? Nah, okay, guess not.
Iggy greeted Fern as she opened the door. She was delighted to see her baby brother again.
Okay, there we go.
That a short joke?
Yes.
Fear not, I foreshortened next to the librarian. Even more so if you forget to return your library books. I'll steal your knees, children.
And everything below them.
No. They just lose their knees. Just the knees. Not even like ripped out of them. They just disappear from their body.
Okay.
Standing up and all of a sudden your fucking legs lose all integrity. You collapse to the ground. Let this be a reminder. You steal knowledge, I steal your knees.
Yes.
Yes. The librarian at this time of year in this part of the country located entirely within your kitchen.
The librarian works in mysterious ways. Do not question whence it can appear.
Yes. Can I see it? No.
Hey, I got a question.
Yes.
I found like an old library book in my room. Did any of you leave a library book here when y'all were last over?
I've never been to your place.
No.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh. Maybe I'll get some more time because of quarantine?
Maybe.
We better finish this quickly. Is it my line? Where are we reading?
No.
All right, so below the pluses we're at Iggy.
And after all these years, you finally decided to pay your big sis a visit. What's the matter? Got tired of clear mountain streams and the big sky? Why is the big sky capitalized?
There's
The
a place in
Big Sky.
there's a place in Montana called Big Sky.
Well, it's the big sky, though, so that kind of implies that they're talking about the sky.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're referring to Big Sky as the Big Sky.
Who's he? He's the big William.
Maybe they're referring to this film, The Big Sky.
Hmm?
She hugged Iggy so tightly that Iggy gasped and wheezed. Damn, Vern, I know you're glad to see me, but you're squeezing me just like you always do.
Good.
She held him a little bit too closely for a moment, and then smiled smugly. Is that a gun in your pants, Iggy, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh my god.
They're family! Oh!
And?
Oh.
Oh.
Ah. Tom, I know you're from the South, but no.
It is a gun.
Yep, exactly. It's a gun.
For you, Iggy.
It's a gun. Now take off your clothes.
It's a gun. I'm robbing you. Put the money in the bag.
I came to collect, dear sister.
And I intend to. Sorry.
Let's see. What state did they say they were in? All the way from Montana.
I believe it's... No. I believe it's Georgia.
Okay, Georgia. So basically, Southern Mafia, Georgia edition.
Also a surprisingly aesthetically pleasing accent.
Vern laughed and invited Iggy inside for iced tea and conversation. She was pleased, actually ecstatic, over seeing her brother again, but the pleasantness of this reunion soon would be marred once Iggy voiced his real reasons for this particular visit. Yeah, he's
Like
gold
I
digging.
said, hand over your valuables, sister.
Put
So,
the valuables
Iggy,
in the bag.
So, Iggy, what have you been up to? What have you been doing since God? How long has it been? 5 years? How come you finally decided to come out of that mountain commute to drive all this way? Fern refilled Iggy's glass while she studied her brother. For a man 45 summers. 1, 2. He's 45 years old.
Yep.
Apparently.
Iggy appeared surprisingly young and vibrant. He looked like a 5-year-old. His face, that chubby, freckled face, was still the very picture of that mischievous little boy she adored. He is 5. His eyes still twinkled with that playful, I don't care attitude.
Also, who the fuck measures age in summers? What fucking fantasy bullshit is this?
Oh, am I the only one who does that in this
Why do warrior
group?
cats do it by moons?
Well, yes, but that makes sense because they're cats. They're not people.
Okay, so I am the only one who does that in
the
this group.
concept of
Cool.
years.
Doing what?
Referring to 45 summers. I'm 24 winters old.
I don't like that because that implies that you know.
Tom, what sort of fucking medieval fantasy bullshit world do you live in?
My world. It's glorious.
Never invite
As my
me there.
father likes to do, he likes to take the song Wayne's World and change it to Zane's World. So, you know.
Oh, it's fine. I don't have to take you there. You're already in it.
Oh my god, does that mean Tom's actually the DM of this world?
I will
Tom,
tear
why'd
this
you give me
world
such
asunder
shitty
until-
fucking stats?
What
the hell, man?
Only the foundations remain.
Hey, I gave you the option for point buy. That's your fault. Oh no, I've said too much.
It's not that Tom's a shitty DM, it's just that you've got a shitty player.
That's
Whoever's
so
fucking
gross.
role-playing you is a fucking asshole.
A pathetic asshole too who doesn't leave his house. Wait,
Well, no. The character he's role-playing doesn't leave his house. That's even worse. So what are we going to do on this adventure? I stay home. You do what?
I stay at home. I don't have a reason to leave. I have to go to the oven again.
I believe it's my line.
Yes.
Although Fern loved her brother, Iggy consistently gave his folks fits. He wasn't a problem child. For one, he was 45. Indeed, Iggy was an honor student, a gifted artist and musician. He played guitar and keyboards expertly, well enough to have his own band, Hornet's Nest, named in honor of his alma mater. Why would you name your band after your high school? What fucking peaked in your teen years bullshit is this?
I was about to say it's probably because he peaked in high school, so.
Thomas Car How High. No one said jump. Why are you saying how high? Iggy was always a bright, happy, funny young man who'd always brought a smile to his family and friends. As a child growing up in the 1960s, however, things began to change for Iggy. For one, he became a Boston Terrier, and we were all very confused.
Iggy began to imbibe the rhetoric of 60s counterculture. He voraciously read everything on the new left he could get his hands on. Iggy even took part in protests and sit-ins. All those things that gradually drove his parents crazy.
Well, his parents are assholes then.
Of course, Fern partially blamed herself, who was very much into 60s pop culture. But whereas Fern was more the Mama Cass type, Iggy saw himself as a Midwestern version of Jerry Rubin, Abby Hoffman, with a little Jerry Garcia thrown in.
Okay there, Tom?
I'm just the only Jerry Garcia I know are those ties.
Oh, God, he's wearing terrible ties.
They're not terrible. They're great. Okay.
I'm not taking fashion advice from the man who wears Crocs.
I'm not giving you fashion advice. I'm giving my opinion.
Anyway, Zane.
He's still probably at the oven.
Just read earlier.
He said he had to go back to the oven again. Did you not hear him?
No. Well, Iggy was likable. His parents didn't take too kindly to... take too kindly to their son's radical views, but they loved him anyway, even after he split for San Francisco in 1967 to experience the summer of love. I'm just going to say radical for, like, the 60s is kind of the norm for now. So, he even accompanied Fern to Woodstock in 69. Nice. Then returned to California, where he became so involved with counterculture ideology that by the time he decided to return home, Iggy had become a young man without direction, without ambition. Again, all I'm getting from this is that Iggy's family's kind of just all full of assholes. All he wanted to do between gigs was play records, sleep, watch TV, and eat, and generally goof off. He became careless in his responsibilities. He generally sponged off his parents. Then Fern, who finally had to kick her brother out after he married... Then Fern, who finally had to kick her brother out after she married Dwayne Grigsby. No way her brother was going to be underfoot all the time. She had a new husband, and she was expecting a baby. Besides, Dwayne would have thrown him out anyway.
Bodily.
Don't care.
So Iggy drifted from job to job. He was almost always broke, but he still had his band, which was one of the best in the tri-state area. The band gave stellar performances at nightclubs, fairs, art festivals, and coffee houses. The last time Hornet's Nest played, it was back in 1976. That's when Roosevelt Sabri, the band's drummer, decided he'd had enough fun and games. It was time to settle down, grow, and get on with life.
Settling down's not really a necessity for life. It's not like there's just a time to do so. You don't have to. It's just a thing that people say you have to do because, of course, they would.
Settling down's not a bad idea.
I mean, if it's for you, it's not a bad idea. It's just a whole thing of it's not necessary. For some people, it's just not a thing that meshes with them and not something they should be expected to do. So Iggy drifted from job to job. He was almost always But now, after all these years, Roosevelt decided to reunite the band and once again recapture some of that magic that was so unique back in the day. All Iggy remembered what Roosevelt said was, "Bring your own equipment. Money's tight and this gig's just for fun, so bring that old Fender and we'll be jamming just as we did in the good old days."
Oh Lord, he's like Uncle Rico.
So, I heard like some people like yelling and screaming outside, but they were just having a party and whatnot.
Oh.
But like, it suddenly went
Wait,
silent
why are they having a party now?
because they're stupid.
Ah!
But like I was saying, they kind of went silent randomly, and I don't hear them anymore.
Maybe they left.
Yeah, I
Well,
hope that's
in
the
the
answer.
area, the whole thing is that gatherings of more than 10 are supposed to be getting broken up by the cops.
Yeah, there was probably around 10 people out there too. So
So there's a chance that what it was is that someone intervened and shut it down. Anyway, Tom's line. Tom? Tom? Okay. Zane?
hello.
Well, I think the server straight up just shut down for a sec.
Uh, is Craig okay?
He's still here. He never left. And I've yet to get any message from him.
Okay.
My
Okay.
internet actually did like glitch out.
Can-
or-
Can y'all hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
hear you.
Well, the thing is, my internet didn't do anything. It's just that suddenly, like, you guys both went silent, then disconnected from the voice call, and then my fucking thing, like, disconnected me from the voice call. So I think it wasn't an internet issue, at least not locally. I
Might
think it
have
was
been
a
a-
server issue.
It might have been a Discord issue because like y'all went
Yeah,
silent
that's what I'm
for a
saying. A
sec.
server issue.
Yeah, y'all went silent for a second. I was like, crap, what the hell?
Anyway, so I'm probably going
Oh,
to
that
have
was
to
the thing.
find that blank spot and edit that out.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun.
Okay.
Anyway, it's Tom's line.
Okay, which one was it?
All Iggy had.
All Iggy had to do was to ask his sister for a small loan. That's all. Surely she
Problem.
wouldn't refuse him, but when the question was
A small
posed,
loan of $1 million.
Iggy got an earful.
Plus, 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 plus.
Yes.
When Fern heard this request, she would have gladly lent Iggy a few hundy, But she knew this man and his freeloading habits. In a way, Iggy reminded her of someone else, a certain young man in his 15th century Paris, someone who has an annoying habit of sponging off his older sibling.
Also, I just realized no, Phoebus is not Frollo's brother. God damn it, why am I like this? Tom disconnected again. What the fuck?
Okay, sorry, my phone was being weird, and I tried to connect to my phone earlier, and it wasn't responding. I was like, okay, cool, I'll just leave it and I'll try come back. And I came back and I forgot that I tried to reconnect my phone, so it connected to my phone, and
Fucking hell.
I'm sorry.
Rude.
Anyway, gotta wait for Zane to finish his line.
Yeah, you kind of distract me there, but dude.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe you do this to me. I'm incredibly upset.
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
Now I know how his grace feels. Jihan does this all the time. Jihan and Iggy is like two peas in a pod sponges.
Oh god, what the fuck?
Give you the food. I'll give the fool a good dose of. I know. Claude gives Jihan all hell all the time, and each and every lecture goes in one ear out the other. I gotta go again.
What? Okay. Fucking
Hey,
hell.
I was making food, dog.
Okay.
Luckily, this is the last time, I think, or maybe one more time. We'll see.
No, Iggy, how many times have I told you that that you can't have your way all the time? I know I promised to share the wealth, but that starts as a couple of what starts with a couple of hundred will turn into a couple of thousand. For goodness sake, Iggy, use your head. Dwayne and I have put the bulk of our winnings in trusts, mutual funds, and CDs. I'm sorry, what was that about that last part?
Invest in the correct things and you will do well? Question mark?
Is that what, are they investing in the CD industry?
Maybe.
That's going to crash in a few years. I'm pretty sure that crashed whenever streaming happened. Anyway.
Well, I still buy CDs, but yeah, it probably crashed pretty hard.
We've set aside money for Kyle. Which one? Your nephew, remember? He's a newlywed, and he has bills and responsibilities. Oh my god, I don't care about this domestic shit. And I got a couple of former students and a few dear friends to think of. Why do you need to fucking fund your own students? What?
It's a scholarship thing, maybe.
Oh, God. No, Iggy, I cannot lend you the money if I wanted to. You simply have to do this on your own. Stand up for yourself and take charge of your life. You're not 18 anymore. What happened with the story suddenly turning in a weird anti-hippie direction? What?
Iggy couldn't believe his ears. Am I hearing right? Did she say no? What am I going to do now? I have to get my hands on some money and fast. Maybe I can crash here for the weekend. Surely she won't refuse that.
What is this fucking story? What does this have to do with anything?
I mean, as long as there's no Frollo sex, I'm fine with it.
Come on, Fern, you can't do that. What am I going to do for cash? Yes, the sisters. He glared at his sister, saying, "So you finally joined them. You and Wayne, with all your we're going to save the world talk, finally joined the Millionaires Club. You wouldn't even lend your own brother a couple scene notes to buy a guitar." What? The story's giving me an existential crisis in the first chapter. What happened? What is this? What?
Sounds like a personal problem, man. Sorry.
Why does a love story involving Frollo and time travel need a subplot about someone's hippie brother?
Why does a story about someone's hippie brother need a subplot about Claude, Frollo, and time travel?
Why do we need an anti-hippie story? We had enough of those in the fucking 60s. No one gives a shit anymore. Iggy took out his handkerchief and dabbed his eyes in mock sorrow. I hate everyone involved in this story. I hated that already in the fucking initial story, but even more so now. What the fuck? Granted, we already know how the writer feels about victims of assault. Anyway. Well, what Fern said made sense. He was quickly approaching middle age, and for once, he had to take charge of his life. But for now, he needed a place to stay, and Fern agreed to let him crash for the weekend. The only problem was that Fern and Dwayne would be out of town for the weekend. Why did you need to use the word weekend twice? We've been over this. Why not let him crash for the weekend? The only problem was that Fern and Dwayne would be out of town for that span of time. Or at that time.
Amateur writing, no access to an editor.
But this is the whole thing of like the writer claiming to be a teacher. So is this just an indictment of the education system?
I mean, we don't need this story for an indictment of the education system, but like,
I don't know. I think it's even worse if it turns out to be a teacher.
Or
at least it should be. God. Anyway, they were to drive over to Greenfield to visit her in-laws. Fern knew if she was to leave Iggy home alone, she had to put limits on her wayward brother.
There'll be a few ground rules. Pick up after yourself, no loud music or parties,
What?
and don't eat us out of everything. Understand? Sure, Fern.
What's with the loud music rule? What?
Fern glanced at her brother, then at the locked bureau drawer. Draw? I think it's supposed to be drawer, but whatever.
It's probably supposed to be drawer.
If I know him, he'll have that Chevy out and... Nah, don't tell him.
Fern just sighed, finally saying, "Stay out of trouble and make sure we have a house when we return." Is this the part where Fern, visits Quad Frollo?
Why would it be Fern? I thought it was supposed to be Danish?
I mean, Fern was a character in the first one, if I'm remembering correctly.
She was like the friend. Oh God. Damn, what a way to spend a weekend. Iggy McMullen stared blankly at the TV screen while he repeatedly flipped from one channel to the other, to another. A half-eaten pizza lay beside him. A half-dozen empty beer cans littered the floor, and the ashtray overflowed with spent Marlboros. Bored stiff, Iggy went out on the deck and lit another cigarette. Puffing away, Iggy studied the suburban subdivision that Fern and Dwayne called home. He couldn't hide his disgust with this slice of upscale living. Yeah, suburbs fucking suck.
Yeah, they're not too
I live
bad.
in the suburbs.
Suburban, any place that expects just a fucking what's the conformity and shit like that. Anyway, suburban heaven at its worst, another enclave for the status-seek and money grub and have-lots. Why couldn't have been? Oh, so that's why he's anti-establishment, because he's not well off. Yes, that's how that works. It's not a difference of philosophy with the establishment or something like that. No, he's jealous. I needed the bread worse than Fern. Man, if only I could. But Fern was right. I need to take hold, get myself together. But
Iggy took another long drag, then decided to take a little ride around town just to get his head together and, perhaps, find something to do. After all, he thought, this town's sure changed a lot since the last time I was here. There has to be something going on.
Oh shit, is that a dog fucking another dog? Damn, that's my next hour!
Wait, what?
Stamped out the cigarette, took one more look at the fine, upscale homes that made up the quiet cul-de-sac, then sighed as he made his way towards the garage. Something made him peep through the garage's windows. For all he knew that his sister had another cat, Dwayne and Ferd had driven their new Lexus to Greenfield, leaving that other vehicle at home. Iggy peered through the glass, then gasped when his eyes fell on that jet-black 1959 Chevy Impala. He always liked cars, and this particular model was his favorite. Look at this bad machine, man! All polished and restored. Look at those
What the
tail fins! That paint job! Oh! Damn, Fern, you had to leave this fine vehicle. Where'd you hide the keys? If she was smart, she'd take the keys with her.
I mean,
You act
why
as though
not?
any characters. You act as though any characters in this story would ever be smart.
Didn't you know though, Llytic? Jamaicans are like 5% away from people from the South. That's why they live
But
in such relatively close proximity.
He's from Montana.
But here's the thing: we gave
But-
him a country accent, and that's why it turned into Jamaican. Because
Tom
Jamaicans
didn't
and
give
country-
him a country accent. We gave him a country accent. There's a big difference. Tom gave the fucking, narrator a country accent. The narrator is not Iggy.
I want a nature documentary narrated by freaking what's his name? He was the guy who played the narrator in The Big Lebowski. Freaking
You mean the narrator from The Big Lebowski? You want a nature documentary about that?
no, I just want a nature
A
documentary.
nature
narrated
documentary
by-
about the narrator from The Big Lebowski.
Give me a sec. What's his name? I always forget his name, and I'm sad. Hang on.
I want a nature documentary from Burger King foot lettuce.
You want Chilled to read a... Ain't Chills? Not Chilled.
Yes.
Chilled's an Italian who plays video games. Chills.
Sam Elliott. I want a nature documentary narrated by Sam Elliott.
Oh god, you're gonna have to try and hear past his mustache the entire time.
He's got a great voice. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's got a nice voice, but at the same time it's kind of muffled because he has to try and talk around his mustache.
Mm.
Just
Anyway,
talk through it like a real man. You tell your mustache to move, and it moves.
is that what happens when he shaves? He just told it to move.
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to move out of the way. I don't know. All I could think about is the fact that he was on that awful sitcom on Netflix. Anyway, Iggy took another long drag, then decided to take a little ride around town just to get his head together and perhaps find something to do.
I read that.
That would be... Oh, wait, that's right. Then Zane read that line. Okay. Then something snapped. It was Iggy's spine.
Llytic, how'd you get into the story?
I have my ways. I may have made a deal with a certain less than ethical entity who runs a library, but yeah. Anyway, make sure to return that book, Zane.
Llytic's life is on the line.
No. I didn't sell myself for it.
Whose
I'm not
soul
an
did you?
idiot.
Whose soul did you sell for it?
Well, where's the book?
Oh my god, you sold Zane's soul?
All he has to do is return the book. We'll be fine.
Zane? Zane?
Just Icky remembered Fern glancing at a locked bureau drawer. It might have been, drawer. Oh, God. Anyway. While she was laying down the law to him. Apparently she failed that fucking stealth check. Maybe he thought that's where she kept the keys. God damn. Why is this the way that's resolved? That is... What? I mean, she was getting all nervous and everything. Like, she didn't want me to know about... Why was that not in italics? Come on, Iggy, pick that lock and get those keys. It's just for the evening. Fern will never know it's gone. Just put a few bucks worth of gas in it, then roll back the odometer. She'll never know. We'll do that thing they did in Ferris Bueller where they put it in reverse to get...
Without much effort, Iggy managed to open the drawer that contained an extra set of keys, not only to the garage, but to the '59 Chevy.
How convenient.
Iggy, his curiosity running wild, rifled through drawers and papers, hoping to find a few dollars Fern may have hidden away. But all Iggy found were a few old photographs in an envelope that contained what Iggy thought was cash. Inside the envelope was just that, a few bills Fern had stashed away as mad money, and a note from a man named Claude. Iggy read the brief note. Also saying, "You're alive, thank God."
Yeah.
Like I said, all he has to do is return the library book.
Llytic sold your soul to the librarian.
Why would I do that?
Here's the thing.
Oh, wait.
I've been hearing like knocking and crawling at the door, and I've just been ignoring it.
Zane?
Let's finish this real quick, all right? Before
Okay.
anything happens.
Zane? Stay strong, okay, buddy?
I'll try.
I smell you.
Is it my line?
I know you're
Yes.
in there.
Yes, it's your line.
What's my? Is it the Did something
My dear
snap
Fern.
one?
My dear Fern.
My dear Fern. I'm stupid. My dear Fern, I want to thank you for your help during the past years. I also want to properly thank you for introducing me to that charming young lady. These photographs were especially enjoyable. It was a Christmas to remember. Best
Wait,
regards.
Did they give Frollo nudes?
Claudino Frolino. Probably.
Claude Frollo? Who the hell is Claude Frollo? God damn it. He then studied the photos of Fern, Kyle, Dwayne, and a few other folks Iggy had yet to meet. He immediately recognized the pretty black girl standing next to Fern. He had met her several years ago, and she taught school in the same building as his sister. A nice girl. What's her name? Tisha? Lisa? Nisha. That's it. Then his eyes scrutinized another picture of Fern, Nisha, and a gentleman whom Iggy thought appeared rather stern despite his pleasant smile. Man, I bet this is one uptight dude.
Andy's old as fuck.
What are two hip chicks like Fern and Nisha doing like with someone like this? Maybe that's this Frollo guy.
Iggy carefully studied the photo.
Also, good to know that Iggy's one of those guys. God damn, I hate everything. And then,
a tall, slender, elegant gentleman who appeared to be in his 50s. A man with carefully groomed gray hair, sharp, angular features, and a wide toothpaste smile. He was dressed in... Yeah, I know. He was dressed...
toothpaste?
He was dressed in what looked like a casual medieval-styled outfit of a fine black velvet tunic, black hose and boots, and large gemstone rings adorned beautifully formed hands. And there,
specifically Iggy describing his hands as beautiful.
And there on each side of this man stood Nisha and Fern, each dressed in the stylish clothing of the 1990s. Iggy was puzzled. This has to be a costume party or something, but this dude looks like he's having a good time. Everyone's smiling. Where was this taken? When?
Yes, because nobody has a good time at a costume party.
Yeah.
I could just picture Fern like busting open the door when they get home from wherever it is that they went. And he's just like, "Y'all went to a Renaissance fair without me." He flipped the photo to the back, then guessed when he read, "Me, Denisha, and Claude, Palace of Justice, Christmas 1485."
Why would he believe that was the actual date? I see it. I wouldn't fall for that shit.
I might, but I'm stupid.
I think that. Oh, okay, that was probably like a joke or something because they took this at like a medieval times or some shit.
They're time travelers. My reaction.
They're time travelers. They're right here next to the Red Knight, wearing paper crowns. and holding really cheap-looking flagons of ale. Clearly, they're time travelers. Iggy almost fell out of the chair. Did she really write down 1485? Fern must have been smoking something other than her Marlboros. This has to be some kind of joke. Poor Iggy was so bewildered that he almost forgot about his little joyride. He hastily returned the photos to their hiding place and picked up the car key and headed for the garage. Iggy surveyed the mess he had made in the family room. Pizza, the beer cans, the ashtrays full of cigarette butts. I'll clean this up later. Right now, I want to tool around in Fern's cool car.
Even the inside is a blast. Iggy settled in smooth leather seats as he studied the interior of the 59 Chevy. It was red with black trim. Everything was completely restored. Even the radio worked. Oh, man, thought Iggy. Ain't this something? And it's all mine, at least for tonight. After switching on the ignition, Iggy tuned the radio to an oldies station. He was glad Fern installed an FM radio, then cautiously backed out of the garage, hoping that the neighbors wouldn't spot him. After all, he thought, they've probably seen Fern drive this car more than 100 times. Hope no one decides to get nosy.
Well, yeah.
I'll have you leave my nose out of this, thank you very much.
Where are you, little one?
But Iggy fears were soon abated when, in the matter of minutes, he finally found himself speeding along I-465. He had no particular destination in mind. He really didn't pay too much attention to his surroundings. All he knew was that he was free to like the wind.
You okay there?
No, well, please call the cops something.
I don't think the cops can do anything, Zane. I'm sorry. Just return the book. Just return the book, and you'll be fine.
Where's my book?
Why are we stopping? Read, go.
Right. Shit. Whoops. I need to read.
Yeah. Zane's life depends on it, Llytic.
He can just open the door and hand the book over.
You realize this is your fault, right?
Hey, like I said, I'm not stupid enough to trade my soul. Even the inside is a blast.
I read that.
Well, the Chevy handled superbly. Iggy could sense all eyes on him in this magnificent automobile. Once again, Iggy... I hope nobody gets nosy. Everyone's looking at me. This is great.
Is this what people in good cars think happens to them?
This is kind of like the equivalent to those guys who go to the gym to like get chicks. Only with cars.
I know they don't specify the make and model of the car, so I'm just imagining this.
Well, it's a 59 Chevy.
Yes, that's a 1959 Chevy.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. He's driving that. What's the name of that one? Let me look. Does it say it? I can't read that. It's too small.
It's a Chevy Apache.
Well, that's just an insult to the Apache people. But yes, he's driving a 59 Chevy Apache.
That's what we're going with, people.
I didn't know you could drive Native Americans.
Well, we certainly drove them out of their lands.
Oh, God. It's funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
Or it would be funny if it weren't true. Anyway. Let's see. Once again, Iggy felt like a kid out of school, free from worries, from responsibilities, from everyday stresses. He cruised the old East Side neighborhood where he and Fern grew up, even looking up some of his old hangouts. But his heart nearly broke when he drove past the old high school.
They closed it, exclaimed Iggy when he saw the now abandoned building, the grounds now overgrown with weeds. This was my old school and Fern's old school. Our daddy went here. How could they do this? She walked about the
He
grounds.
fucking peaked in high school.
She walked about the grounds. Iggy felt a tear trickle down his cheek while his mind flooded with memories of the glory days. Fucking wuss. Those were special days filled with laughs, tears, and music. Yes, music. He remembered his days in Hal's band and the boys' glee club. Just do choir. Just do choir, dude.
There's nothing wrong with being in a glee club.
I know, but like...
It's something definitely wrong with peaking in high school. If high school was the best part of your life, something is seriously wrong.
Iggy remembered his own band, Hornet's Nest, named in honor of the team. Then he recalled how his political and social views were challenged by that new kid who sat behind him in Mr. Fundenberg's American government class. It was that kid that got Iggy to read all that Port Huron and Students for a Democratic Society stuff. Of course, Iggy had always had an open mind. He never realized it would take over his life so completely. He enjoyed a fantastic, carefree youth. But, he thought as he walked back to the car, he was no longer a kid. Middle age was catching up quickly, and Iggy knew he had to get his act together. Yep, he peaked in high school.
Yep. Honestly, it's also kind of hilarious that he ended up getting very interested in politics, but never decided to do any schooling for it so that he could get a career in it. Because, I mean, if you're passionate in it, you might as well try and, like, do something with it.
Sorry, but I don't think being a gamer is a viable economic option for me.
YouTube. You just had to get really fucking lucky. Either that or Twitch.
Yeah, I'd rather not rely on luck. I'd rather not rely on luck, though. And again, it seems like my life is about to be over anyway, so... might as well go back to the house. There's nothing for me here. I might as well start looking for a job. I need the money to buy that equipment. Then to get the old bus fixed up after this gig, head back to maybe I'll buy that old ranch. Iggy thought that, what the heck? Drive around some more and enjoy the car while you could. After all, it was getting late. It would be dark soon, and Iggy felt he needed a few moments of fun. However, in a matter of minutes, things would change for Daniel Ignatius McMullen. Things that would change Iggy's life forever. It started with a spilled Coke.
Zane, just return the book. Hurry.
Where'd I put it? Fuck.
Check the toilet. Check the bathroom close to the toilet. That's where I find books that I'm looking for usually.
It's past the due date, child.
Damn, I knew this would happen. Iggy parked the car alongside the road and began mopping up spilled Coca-Cola from the seats and floor mats. For some reason, for some strange reason, Iggy decided to drive down to the south far side in hopes of finding an old country road so he could open up the Chevy at top speed. Yes, the Chevy Apache at top speed. He stopped at a White Castle hamburger joint on the way. God, this is getting more and more pathetic by the moment.
Hell is White Castle.
Exactly.
Ah, okay. It was a hamburger joint that started in 1936.
Yeah, their whole thing is like small hamburgers, like sliders.
Okay, if they're in Georgia, then there's not really any areas where a White Castle would be.
I mean, there's a good number of areas. Are there no White Castles in Georgia?
The areas served are the Midwestern United States, the New York metropolitan area, Las Vegas, Nevada, Scottsdale,
Arizona. It's in the New York metropolitan area that's like right on the border with Jersey.
Yes, but Georgia's like a few states away from
Georgia. I was thinking Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I swear you said if they're in Jersey, there's no way they're gonna get a White Castle.
I said Georgia, but okay.
I swear you said Jersey, and I was like, wait, what? Anyway, That was one part of home that he'd missed and thankfully hadn't changed. Then he got lost when he tried to find that old dirt road he and his buddies used for racing. It was gone, along with much of the familiar sights he loved as a young man. Then the coke spilled when Iggy fumbled for another cigarette. Good grief. What am I going to do now? Now what am I going to do? I got Fern's car all sticky with coke. Maybe I can get this clean before Fern and Dwayne get back from Greenfield. Damn. Fern will have my hide for sure. What's this button down here?
Oh, okay. So this is what happens. This is how we're gonna tie in.
Oh
Sure
my
enough.
God, it's going to be Iggy-centric, and he's going to go back in time.
Sure enough, while finishing the cleanup, Iggy espied a curious little red button under the dash. He thought nothing of it at the time, but his curious nature got the best of him. In a flash, Iggy snapped his fingers, then laughed out loud. No wonder Fern didn't want me to touch her car. This thing's got a nitrous oxide tank installed, because that's what this here button's for. Man, do I remember old Earl of that beat up Fairlane with the tank of, man, that car could, man, could that car fly.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that's right. This is that fucking purple Chevy from the first one. Fucking make was that? Did it
I don't
say?
remember.
I'm gonna look that up. Zane?
Rubbing his hands in anticipation, Iggy restarted the motor, then drove around until he found a stretch of graveled road that seemed to lead to nowhere. Maybe I can open this baby up. Hope there ain't no cops around. It's still daylight for another couple hours. And I sure can't afford no ticket. Iggy maneuvered the car into position, then his foot pressed down on the accelerator. He allowed the Chevy to increase in speed, 50, 60, 70, 80. Wait till it hits 90. That's what Earl said, or else this stuff won't work.
When the Chevy reached top speed, Iggy reached under the dash and depressed that red button. Oh, it was already depressed in his presence anyway. In a flash, he was engulfed by a bright white light.
Man, that was a blast. I just could swear I was in orbit. Whoa. Where am I? This doesn't look like the South Side. This doesn't even look like... What did I do? Blast myself out of the county?
Iggy's not a very smart man.
No.
If you're confused, Iggy drove along a bumpy dirt road. He recognized nothing remotely familiar. He consulted his map and his compass, but they were, at this moment, totally useless. He started feeling quite apprehensive about how his sister would react and what she would say to him once she discovered the car and her brother missing. All he knew was that he had to find his way home, and fast.
Where is the book?
No
Iggy
one's
des-
home.
Just hold out, man. Just hold out.
Ah, yes,
Iggy-
Zane. Roll deception.
He desperately tried to find a road sign, a mileage marker, a billboard, anything that would point him in the right direction. All he found was a stone pillar inscribed with these words, Chateau d'Arcy. Oh, wait. Below below the inscription was an arrow pointing in this place's direction.
What Chateau Darcy? Where am I for real?
At that moment, a young man who appeared to be in his middle 30s approached Iggy from behind. Just like someone's approaching behind me. He was dressed in what you could tell was the clothes of the late Middle Ages, just like that dude in Fern's picture. This dude even looks like him, but this guy was older, more uptight looking. This dude's more like me.
Indeed, the man looked very much like the older gentleman in the photo, but this was a much younger man, and his demeanor bespoke of fun and games, something Iggy, being a fun-loving guy himself, spotted right away. The man began to address Iggy in a friendly manner.
I can't do a French accent, and otherwise I would.
Yeah.
I saw the blaze of light in your vehicle when you drove past, but I thought Madame Fern was always operated this machine. No matter, you're here, and at last I get to meet the brother. Iggy, his face the very picture of puzzlement and bewilderment, stood motionless and said absolutely nothing as this man extended his hand and introduced himself.
My name is Jihan Freeloader, and you must be Daniel McMullen. Fern said that if your friends call you Iggy, Laughed when he realized the nickname sounded so amusing. Iggy finally woke up, his voice trembled with apprehension. Iggy smiled, then asked Jihan, "Where am I? I mean, how do I get back to on the interstate?"
You missed a line.
My name is Ignatius. That's what?
Yeah.
Oh, my middle name is Ignatius. That's why folks call me Iggy. I did it to myself because I couldn't pronounce Ignatius when I was a kid. I guess the name stuck.
I did it because I'm a big fan of the band Iggy Pop. Or because I'm a big fan of Iggy Pop.
Iggy smiled, then asked Jihan, "Where am I? And how does he get back to the interstate?"
Yeah, Iggy Pop's not a band. Fucking hell, he's a singer. Whoops. My brain. Upon hearing the word interstate, Jahan Frollo raised an eyebrow, then laughed when he remembered that Iggy had never been on one of these time trips. He had to clarify it once and for all, but he wanted to break the news to Iggy as gently as possible. Oh, wait, shit. After all, Madame Fern had never told him of time travel. My goodness, Claude will be pleased to meet her brother, although he may have something to say about the clothes. What process produces that? That is the strangest clash of colors and patterns. Even the gypsy's clothes are nowhere near this. God damn it!
At last, Jihan Frollo said, "My dear M. McMullen, may I call you Iggy? You are in France, near Paris, to be precise."
Iggy's eyes widened and his feet nearly gave way from under him. He gulped hard and said, "Did you say for France? You mean I blowed myself all the way to France? This is a joke, ain't it? Maybe I'm dreaming or something."
Or you're high. That's also a possibility.
I hope I'm dreaming.
Or maybe he's dead.
We're all just wet skeletons carrying around a brain.
I mean, you're not wrong. Actually, what you are is a brain inside of a case of bone covered in meat and coated in skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Jehan Frollo laughed again and said, "Oh no, Iggy, you really are in France." But, Jehan took Iggy by the hand and said, "Iggy, your sister is a time traveler." Not sure why I'm going with a mock Spanish accent for a Frenchman. She's a frequent visitor of my time, and she and my brother are good friends. Iggy, you have transported yourself to 15th century France.
At this news, Iggy fainted dead away.
In the cool shade of the barn, Jehan Frollo sponged
It's
Iggy's
time for me to collect.
hot forehead with cold water, hoping that the poor man would come to. I knew this would happen. Why couldn't I gently tell him that he had traveled over 500 years? I wonder if Madame Fern knows he's here. But to be safe, I know Claude's there with Nisha, but I don't want to disturb him. I'll contact Madame Fern myself. Alright, though. I'll give you the book. Just hold on. Wait, no, please. No. Please, anything but
took
this.
his book.
Ah!
Oh, shit.
Zane?
Dear Mademoiselle Fern, your brother Iggy is here. In our time, he arrived in that wonderful black machine, the Chevy. Do not worry. The vehicle is safely hidden away in the old barn where no one can find it. I do believe, dear Fern, that your brother hasn't the slightest idea where he is or of your time travels. Would you pass the message on to my brother when you see him? I know he's with Denisha, and he became quite angry with me when I disturbed his last visit with something else of equal pettiness. To be continued.
Zane? We should probably go check on him.
A bit of a problem.
I at last have my book.
Llytic, I blame you completely for this.
I was expecting him to hand the book over.
I mean, he tried to. You heard. He tried.
Yeah. You know, we really should have figured out something was up when we heard that door open.
Anyway, we'll go check on Zane, and we will see y'all.
Special thanks to Destiny Baird and Longreach Jones for supporting us on Patreon. If you like what we do and would like like to hear more from us, consider clicking that link in the description and supporting us through that. We're gonna go check on Zane quick, and then we'll be right back.